COVID has shut down most live performances, but the Arvada Center for Arts and Humanities has reimagined its theater offerings for this year. So joining me now is President and CEO Philip Sneed. And tell us, how did you approach taking your virtual productions to a virtual space?
Well, when the pandemic hit and we knew that we couldn't have in-person audiences, we knew that we didn't want to stop engaging with our patrons. So we looked around, what can we do, and what can we do that would be virtual, that we could afford, that was not going to be too risky, because of course we, like everybody else, were suffering a lot of lost revenue from lost ticket sales from all the canceled performances. So we began to look at all of our work, from our classes to our theater productions to our concerts to our student dance and music, to see what could be done online. And we were actually surprised at how much we were able to do. We've been able to do virtual plays, virtual student dance concerts. We've done some audio-only drama, like old radio dramas. We've done some performances that were broadcast live in real time, and others that were streamed and recorded and could be played back at any time. So we just looked at all the possibilities that the technology offered and tried to get as much content out there as possible.
That's awesome. You just kind of had to roll with the punches, right?
Yeah.
So this fall, you guys did your first Zoom play called Family Tree. How was that received? What was the feedback, and what's next in that genre?
People loved it. I mean, there'd been a lot of theater out there online that was recorded and then streamed. But we thought it might be interesting to play around with the idea of having a live play that could only be seen at certain performance times, just like you would go into a theater prior to the pandemic. You would pick an evening or a matinee to go into the theater to watch the show. We thought this would benefit from being live, and it would also allow us an interactive component. So we hadn't heard that any other theater in the country was doing this at the time, and I'm still not sure who else might be. But people loved it. People loved the interactive component. You would get to know the characters on, say, 4 different Zoom screens in 4 different locations, and the actors were all in their own homes, of course, for safety. And as you got to know the characters, then they would split off into breakout rooms. So just like when a meeting has a breakout room, the audience could choose which characters' storylines to follow. And then, of course, at the end, it all comes back together. So people love that, and I know some people saw it multiple times so they could follow different characters' storylines at different times. So that was so successful that we're doing another one coming up next month called ChristyCon. And this is based in part on the success of our in-person production last year of a stage adaptation of Agatha Christie's Murder on the Orient Express. There was obviously a demand for Agatha Christie. She's always popular. So this play imagines an annual convention of Agatha Christie fans that has to go virtual because of the pandemic. So you're going to get to know a little bit about, so if you love Agatha Christie, there will be that element to it, but you'll also get to know some of the kinds of fans that really are hardcore and follow her and go to these conventions. So there's already been a lot of excitement about it. There's been a lot of pre-sales. And once again, people may not be used to having to pick a particular time to watch something virtual. We're used to being able to watch it anytime we want. But the trade-off, of course, is you're seeing it live with the actors. And just like with the Family Tree last fall, there will be a live talk back with the actors afterwards. So people who want to stay afterwards can actually chat with the actors, ask them questions, and get to know them outside of their characters.
Wow, that interactive piece is really neat. I love the creativity behind that. Makes it more unique and special. So tell us too, first up in March 1st is Buyer and Seller, a virtual play. What can audiences expect from that one?
You know, this is a very funny play. We've looked at it in the past. This won't be live. This is being pre-recorded and edited. But it's a one-person play that's based upon something that's actually true, which is that Barbra Streisand, in her mansion in California, has an enormous underground mall, basically, filled with all her memorabilia. She's a fan of American design. She's published a book about American design. So that's a bit of truth that this is based on. But then the fictional part of it is, it imagines an out-of-work gay actor in Los Angeles who is hired to come and manage the collection of this celebrity, but he's not told who it is. He learns out later that it's Barbra Streisand. And so his job is to manage this collection of hers And in the fictional story, she will come downstairs to her basement and pretend to be shopping for items. She'll bargain for the best price, and she'll pay money to this guy to buy her own things. And then, of course, later he has to give the money back. But it's a very funny story about this actor that he tells about working for Barbra Streisand, who he just adores. And so it's all one actor. He's done it from his home. Our production staff has come up with a set design, so we've added scenic elements to the actor's own apartment. And our staff is so good that they've even managed to find a way to have the lights change in his apartment, and that change is executed from the stage manager's apartment in a completely different location. So everybody is isolated, and it's amazing what the technology can do, and it's a very funny play, whether you like Barbra Streisand or not. But if you like Barbra Streisand, it's going to be particularly appealing.
Wonderful. Well, it sounds like you guys have a lot of great things on tap. Looking forward to that. A lot of creativity, a lot of different experiences for people. Well, thank you so much, Philip, for your time today. We really, really appreciate it.
Thank you, and I look forward to seeing people back at the Arvada Center when conditions allow.
Yes, absolutely. I'm sure many people are looking forward to that. Thanks again. And we have that full calendar of Arvada Center's virtual theater experiences on our website, cbsdenver.com.